Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be demonstrating how to create a large porcelain vase. I've already started the piece and I'm at the early phase of it, and I really don't know what shape it's going to take on, but I wanted to show you the base of the piece. I put these little feet on it to kind of lift it up and give it a visual kind of lift or foot to it. And you can also see there is a slab of clay that is underneath the vase form, and this piece will remain with the piece throughout the whole firing. And the reason why is as the piece is shrinking, it's going to move, and those feet that are on it, the weight of it, they would tend to not move along with it. So the slab allows the whole piece to shrink together, so you also don't get cracks down the middle of the vase. So I'll be demonstrating how to add a slab onto it, and so we'll have to go over to the slab roller. So I'm over at my slab roller now, and I'm going to show you how to roll out a large slab of clay. The porcelain that I use is this English porcelain. It's 365, it's cone 6, and it's from Standard, which is a wonderful local company here in Pittsburgh, and they distribute all over, so definitely support them. They're a wonderful family. Anyway, so I'm going to use my Bailey slab roller, which I've been fortunate to have this huge slab roller for quite some time. And to cut the clay, the tool that I'm going to use, this is a cutoff wire. And if you don't have one, you can even just use a fishing line that's wrapped around a stick, but it really comes in handy. So to cut the clay, you just take it across, and I'm going to cut 4 pieces that are around 2 inches thick. Okay. And they also make these wonderful cheese slice cutters that you can set the size and get it exact, but yeah, mine, the wire broke and I just still haven't replaced it, but this works just as fine, and it's probably schlumpier. So next, I'm going to lay these across here and set a line of these clay slabs, and then I'm going to smooth these slabs together. And you want to do it on both sides, so just by kind of pounding down. You don't need all this jewelry. And then I'm going to do it to the other side, making sure it's really together. I don't know if I'm blocking it so you can see. I'm just doing the slab. And then put it back. And make sure your canvas is nice and flat. Sure. And then you change the size, of the slab roller, of the thickness. This goes up and down, and the whole bar across goes up and down. So it's kind of like one of those Play-Doh Fun Magic roller things. So get on this side, and I have 2 canvases, and I'm going to make sure that the clay kind of goes straight up to the canvas. I have it at my set size. Go down just a little bit, and then I'm going to start making sure it's in there and start. There you go, it caught. So it's kind of like rowing a boat. Across. And the nice thing about these is it puts the pressure, and then the clay moves through it. This has been a really wonderful slab roller that I haven't really had to do much upkeep to it too. So it's very, very wonderful piece of equipment that I bought a while ago. Okay, so I have my slab, and Maybe I can move this camera over a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. So, let's see if you can see this now. Now I'm gonna cut, or I'm gonna take this metal rib and I wanna smooth out the canvas. You don't have to, but it helps compress the clay a little bit. Get that good. And then I'm just gonna take my fettling knife and just cut. And typically I like doing strips of about, let's see, that's about 5 or 6 inches I go across. And since the piece, I'm gonna go ahead and duplicate that. So do it one more time. And that's a pretty good thickness for our vase. You can see here. And if you wanted it thinner, you would just go up and down on the little thing on the slab roller, my technical term. Okay, so then I will show you. Okay, so I'm back at my vase and I want to check to see if it's at a good dryness to add the next slab. You don't want it to be totally dry, and see how there's still some give to this clay. So this is a good time, but whenever it's totally wet, it's going to be really wobbly and it's going to be really hard to add. So there's kind of a good time to do it, which is now. So I'm going to take my slab I brought over that I had just rolled out, and I'm going to set it on top. Now, as you can see, it's not completely big enough, so I'm just going to kind of pinch it just to kind of get it up here temporarily. And since I'm not sure what the shape of this piece is going to be, I can start kind of just smoothing it down. And I want to smooth it not only on the back side, but also on the inside. So this is a little bit wet, and I'm just kind of tacking it up here now just so I can add the other piece, and then I'll really be able to attach it well. Just going to tack it. And this porcelain is really wonderful to work with. Porcelain is one of the more difficult materials to work with, but I guess how it ends up looking is, I think, the most amazing, and it's very, very strong. So I like working with it, but it definitely is more challenging. And I think because the particles are so smooth and the plates kind of move off of each other, that there's not a lot of structure to hold it together. So I only need a very small piece for this last slab, so I'm gonna cut. I would typically have my fettling knife, but I left my fettling knife over there. I'm gonna set this on here, grab my fettling knife. Okay, fettling knife. And now the cool thing is I'm gonna slice. I overlap the two, and then you can do this cool kind of where you just slice it. Took off that piece. And then see how I'm taking off that piece. So this is gonna fit perfectly. And same with this. I'll slice, and then we'll have a nice seam there. And you can overlap it just a little bit. And I'm gonna start really smoothing it down. And again, not only on the front side, but the back side. The most important thing, I know a lot of people like to introduce water, but what I think, and I learned from the one person who I studied with, it was Jenny Lynn, she didn't like to use any type of water because it kind of made it more wobbly. Actually, I think it was Nancy Selvin. So thank you, Nancy. Okay, so this is my nice metal rib, and I'm going to go ahead and start smoothing, and it's going to start taking a form on. Smoothing. And again, it's more important just noticing that all the pieces are together, that you're really pushing it together, and that there's no gap, because that's where a lot of you'll start getting cracks if it's not smooth together. So that was just a little bit just to show you one of the processes of how to build. So I will be showing you later as it gets bigger and as I start to give it more texture and add things to it. So thank you so much and have a lovely day. Take care. Bye.